Jai Bhim Ellarku. Jai Bhim to all of you. My name is Manvi, and as everybody is introduced, I'm a member of PUCL, and I will be speaking to you for the next 15 minutes about uh, what this report actually presents and what are the facts of this case. Because what the media has done today is that it has not told you the truth. The media is hiding the truth behind this particular case, like many other cases. Before I start, I also want to say that the only reason human rights organizations like PUCL, ILAJ, APCR could intervene in this issue is because on the ground level, there were very strong activists and political leaders across parties that were there, including people like Shabir, including people from different political parties that were there. The only reason this case came out as a mob lynching case was because of the local level intervention at the place this happened. And I want to start with some words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, who's the father of our constitution, to keep in mind how difficult the work ahead of us is, right? We're talking about the violence of the crime, we're talking about the violence of a lynching. Uh, but an ideal society is not where there is no violence, where there's only not no violence, but there's also public conscience. And if you see the title of this report, we've titled it as saying Lost Fraternity. Because when you were thinking about what all has happened in this particular lynching, we realized that what has really been lost, we were never a fraternal society, but the fact, the dream of fraternity itself feels many, many miles to go at this point in time. And Dr. Baba Sahib, when he talks about the question of public conscience, he says public conscience means conscience which becomes agitated at every wrong, no matter who is the sufferer, and it means that everybody, whether he suffers that particular wrong or not, is prepared to join him in order to get relief. So the public conscience would ideally mean that when a person gets lynched in broad daylight, if there was a conscientious society, then everybody should have been agitated about the fact that somebody has been lynched. So where did this lynching happen? Does anybody here know where this lynching happened? Mangalore. But where in Mangalore? What was happening at that time? What were the people who were lynching him? What were they doing? They were playing cricket. All of us like sports. Yes, it's a way of associating, it's a way of building fraternity, it's a way of engaging, it's a way of also, getting rid of our everyday anxieties. Sports is very important. They were all playing cricket. And next to the cricket ground was a railway track. In that railway track, Ashraf, he was a 38-year-old man, Muhammad Ashraf. He was a rag picker, a waste worker. He used to collect plastics. So he was collecting plastics there. And he walks across Mangalore. He's from Kerala, but he's been going and working in Mangalore for the last 15 years at least. His family told us at least for 15 years he's been going here. Now, we don't know why this happened. We have, as the fact finding team, we have three possible reasons as to what had happened. One, he saw a bottle of water and he went to drink water. That's one possibility. The other possibility is he saw the plastic bottle and he came to collect it to put it in his bag, in the gunny bag, to go and sell for waste. That is the second possibility. The third possibility is the fact that he went there and he saw the game happen and he wanted to go and see cricket because he really, like all of us, like cricket. His amma says in the testimony in the booklet, if you see in the fact finding report, she says he really liked cricket. So he wanted to maybe go and see the match. But what happened after that? He went there to see the match. Either possibly somebody asked him, did you come from Pakistan? Because why? This happened 5 days after Pahalgam had happened. After the Pahalgam terrorist attack had happened, 5 days after it, this has happened. And why has this happened? because there's a systematic inflow of hatred. Everywhere, there were instances that have been documented by APCR, by India Hate Lab, by many people, how hatred was being sold against Muslims en masse. There were violent incidents against them. There were hate speeches. So they possibly went and asked him, "Did you come from Pakistan?" And the FIR narrates saying, "Pakistan, Pakistan." Even if PUCL, as PUCL, we are a human rights organization, our point is very simple. If you look at the Supreme Court judgment in Balwant Singh, it clearly says this was a time, this Balwant Singh case, what happened was there were two lone individuals, okay, who after Indira Gandhi's assassination shouted the slogans of Khalistan Zindabad. Okay. The Supreme Court said that two lone individuals having shouted that slogan does not amount to sedition, does not amount to hate speech because it has no impact. Who is getting affected? So, when it's not even a crime to have shouted Pakistan Zindabad, even if he had, right? Even if one was to assume for even a second that had happened, if not even a crime, then how can somebody be killed for it? What happened after that? There was a cricket match, so there were at least how many people are there in one cricket team? 12, 12, 10, 11, I don't know, 11 I suppose. So totally there were at least 3, 4 teams that were there, right? Two teams were playing, the other two teams were the next, was the final day. So how many people estimatedly that were there? At least 50, 40 to 50 people were there. These people have mobilized to say that he shouted the slogan. They saw he was visibly Muslim and they lynched him to death. They didn't just lynch him. If you hurt somebody, if you lied to your parents, if you hit your child, 1 second the remorse is there, no? 1 second you will feel something. They went back and they played cricket. They killed him, they went back and they played cricket. They did not call the police. They did not stop the people lynching him. They did not. What does this say? This say that the question of public conscience, the imagination of fraternity, we have internalized hatred so much that not even for a minute was there remorse. Now, after that, what happens? These people have done this, these people seem to have, kept the constitution aside, they have seemed to kept the rule of law aside. But what happened after that? The police was informed, the local police station was informed. The local police station was informed, and after the local police station, I urge you all to look at the photos in which the condition in which Muhammad Ashraf's body was found. They found the body like that. And when they found the deceased body like that, the first thing they said was, "We don't know why this has happened, so we can't register an FIR." The medical opinion says, "We don't know what is the reason he has died." There are wounds as if a knife has been taken and put in the body and it has been taken out. There are wounds that big. So for the first 2 days, 1.5 day, they kept saying that to the activists who had intervened locally that there are no wounds. There are no wounds on the body. What you are saying, mob lynching case. They ran with that version. What else was there on the scene of crime? There were vehicles there. There were people present in the cricket jersey. There were people present. The police did not inquire into whose vehicles they were. They did not take the people at the spot for questioning. Now this happened 1.5 day later because of the fantastic pressure that was applied by the local groups there who were informed that this was a lynching. The police had to do the postmortem and show the body of the deceased to the local activists. When they saw the body of the deceased Muhammad Ashraf, a man who just maybe went to see cricket that he liked, a man who really liked eating honey and kalonji seeds, a man who just led a simple life. He's not married, he didn't have children, he didn't have material ownerships. He was a very simple working class man, Muslim man. They have gone ahead and lynched him, and for 1.5 days, the police has hidden this systematically. the Commissioner of Police Siddharth Anupam Agarwal, the Deputy Commissioner of Police Law and Order Siddharth Goyal, and the ACP Dhanya Nayak have systematically hidden this to protect, aid, and abet the people who are at the scene of crime who lynched. Now, after after this came to light, after this particular instance came to light, um, the fact that it was a lynching came out, the role of the police came out, and we've spoken to in the fact finding report. You'll see we have spoken to the different the police official on phone, and the DCP has told us on phone call this. I was there in the scene, and he's giving an explanation saying why I couldn't register an FIR. That has been the role of the police in this case. What has been the role of the people in this case? If there were 50 people there approximately, somebody would have come forward to talk, no? Somebody would have come forward to talk to the fact finding team, to the police. The first, if you look at the FIR, a false complaint is registered by somebody named Manjunath. The next day, when the actual complaint is registered, the current FIR, that FIR records that a false complaint was registered, and the Manjunath who's given the false complaint in the first place, he's actually an accused. He was one of the people who was a part of that lynching, who participated in that lynching. So the response of the people there was fear, a climate of fear, which has been long coming in the region of Dakshin Kannada. Dakshin Kannada, as many of you here will know, has been systematically by the Hindutva organizations and by the police and by the state. In a way, they've all provided and contributed to the breakdown of law and order. There is no rule of law anymore. There is absolutely no rule of law anymore in Dakshin Kannada. This collapse is what is one of the most concerning things. And the second part is the extent of hatred in people's hearts and minds. When I started by saying that the work ahead for us is very long, that is what I was talking about. The work of building a public conscience. That is the long road ahead. But what does this mean in terms of law? What does this mean in terms of what all have they violated in doing this? If you look at the back of the report, the one sentence that Jabbar and his Amma told us was that true justice for Muhammad Ashraf would be that this should be the last lynch. No one ever again should be lynched. And all those who have lynched him should pay the price for their crime. True message, true justice for Ashraf would be when a strong message is sent against lynching and hatred. We have a 2018 Supreme Court judgment called the Tehseen Poonawalla judgment. In that, I urge you all to please, if there is 1-2 pages that you read, please read that. Because we don't have to wait for a lynching to happen for it to be implemented in our own states. It very clearly says what are the preventative measures that have to be taken by the state, what are the remedial measures that have to be taken by the state, and what are the punitive measures that have to be taken by the state. And that is what connects to one of the major demands. We have 4 demands that we're asking for. Firstly, that a SIT should be formulated to look into the investigation. 3 IOs have been transferred in this case. From 29th of April, when the FIR got registered, till now, the investigation has changed hands 3 times. So we are demanding that an SIT be set up. The public prosecutor has failed already in this case because 6 people out of the 21 accused are out on bail. And why are they out on bail? Because the FIR was delayed. The bail order records that the FIR was delayed, and hence we are granting bail. The veracity of the incident needs to be verified. And hence a special public prosecutor is needed for the first mob lynching that's happened in Karnataka after the new mob lynching law came into place, after the BNS. Our third demand is that the implementation of the Tehseen Poonawalla judgment, and by implementing the Tehseen Poonawalla judgment, they have to institute an inquiry against these 3 police officials, the Commissioner of Police, the DCP, and the ACP, for dereliction of duty and for being in contempt of court for the Supreme Court. So these are our demands, and like it is not just that this has to happen, this case and the struggle has to happen in Mangalore or Bangalore or Karnataka. He was a Malayali, yes, but he was also a human being. And like Ashraf's family has said, this should be the last lynching. This should never happen again in any other civilized democratic society. And so, whatever it is that all of us can do, can we ask the state government here to work with the Karnataka government to ensure that the SPP is appointed? Can we ask for victim compensation to be granted to them? These are the concrete steps that need to be taken for ensuring justice in this case, and for ensuring that hate crimes and hate speeches have accountability even in Kerala. With that, I will stop. Thank you so much.